If you don't know how to play Magic the Gathering, shame on you. It's a free-to-play game on Steam, but kind of the same model as Hearthstone. You can earn coins through battling, through quests, through adventures, through the story mode, or you can simply buy packs. And I've gotten hooked up with 40,000 coins, which goes a long way for boosters. There's Kaladesh, the latest expansion, out in the store. I can just go ahead and buy a bunch of packs, but first, let's try like as if we just started out. So with this particular campaign, whatnot, you get the pre-built deck. It feels almost like, do you really not know how to play Magic? Oh, and there's also these skill quests that you can do in the middle. If you've never played Magic, you can now manually add mana to your mana pool. Here, let's see what happens here. Normally when you cast a spell, your lands tap automatically. However, your lands can produce mana almost any time. Zoom in on a land to use its mana ability. You can use that mana along with untapped lands to cast spells or activate abilities. So that's kind of cool. Magic Duels tries to streamline down Magic the Gathering Online, which is Magic the Gathering Online. It's kind of a clunky interface. Magic Duels simplifies that. However, it was criticized for not being able to like tap lands earlier. I guess now you can. It's pretty useful. Kira, untap up to one target creature and up to one target land. So the mana cost is on the top right, stats are on the bottom right, attack and toughness. I'm gonna tap my mountain. Ooh, tap. We're gonna use Cura to help us out here. Untap one target creature and one target land. Pow! Dragon. So one of the things that Magic the Gathering Online does is like every single time you have to manually be like, okay, stop, I want to cast something because it's an instant. But Magic Duels tries to streamline it also by doing the skill quest. You get a small amount of gold, which adds up. Alright, back to the game. And it's kind of cool how the skill quests pop up at relevant times. I can either play this tap land, but I'm going to play some mountain here, so I can cast my 1 mana 2/1 OP. Okay, so how do you play Magic the Gathering, one might ask? So every single turn, there's a main phase, attack phase, and a second main phase. The flavor of Kaladesh is that it's kind of an artifact world. That's generally what I know. My poor Bonded Construct can't attack alone because a 1 mana 2/1 would be too powerful. I'll skip Arena the attack. At the beginning of each end step, and this is where you can like stop the timer if you want to interrupt it. If a +1/+1 counter is placed on a permanent under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Fairgrounds Trumpeter. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. Geez, I think I got interrupted from my general explanation. So each turn in your main steps, you can play 1 land. Unlike Hearthstone, you don't get automatic land each turn. The land lets you play your bigger cost cards. I feel a little bit silly explaining how Magic plays, but you know, some of you kiddos out there may have never played it before. In Magic, you always attack face, smart, and then it's up to the blocker to decide who to block, so creatures are a lot more resilient since you can't just attack them directly. Kind of allows them to have more fancy text on them. I did play a lot of Magic the Gathering before Hearthstone. Now, one pro of Hearthstone, I'll argue it's a pro, is that since you automatically gain 1 mana each turn. Oh, thanks for following the rules there. Yeah, I can't attack with just this. If I attacked with these two, then the 3/3 would block my 2/3, so I'll skip. Land in 2016, haha. So one of the advantages or differences of Hearthstone to Magic is that you don't get this problem where you always get, like, you get all the land and then you can't actually win because you don't actually have cards. Abrogate 1 when this creature enters, put a +1/+1 on it, or create a 1/1 colorless servo. Cute. So sometimes you don't get enough land to play your things, and sometimes you get too much land. You can't actually play anything. But nonetheless, this land allows for greater deck building finesse, so advantages and disadvantages. They're just gonna pass. Alright, flying. Can't block the flying with my guys. And that's a 3 mana 3/3. Or 4 mana 3/3. Guess I'll block. And you might wonder, why are there timers going on each time? Well, Magic has instants, which you can like interrupt stuff, so because I decided to block, you could do something like buff something or whatnot. Put a +1/+1 counter on, or create a servo. Like, you can even interrupt the putting on a 1/1 if I had like a lightning bolt. Vehicles are artifacts that can become artifact creatures until end of turn using the crew ability. Tap any number of untapped creatures you control with total power at least equal to the crew number. I actually haven't played any of Kaladesh, so let's see what this is. The inventors of Kaladesh have pioneered awe-inspiring vehicles ready for battle. They can turn into artifact creatures for the turn with the help of a brave crew. Fascinating. The Andara Express is ready to depart and your opponent is standing on the tracks. Revive your foe's attack and win the game on your turn. Alright, he's declaring attack. Stop timer! What do you got here? Alright, so we've got a flying artifact here. Crew 1, tap any number of creatures you control with total power 1 or more. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. And how's our Aradara Express doing? Wow, it's an 8/6. And they have to tap any number of creatures you control with total power 4 or more. That's kind of cool. It's actually cool to go into an expansion, which I actually know nothing about. I just know the general idea that it's a creative tinker artifact paradise. And you can also like have it become a guy on the opponent's turn. That was a really good demonstration. Thanks, Skill Quest. Alright, back to our hey, cool. We gotta play. That's a 6 mana 10/7. I need a crew 5, which would be a reason to not trade my guys off apparently. But I didn't know that my deck was vehicle based until now. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and I can make it become a 10/7 by crewing 5. I can block the 2/3 on the 4/4, but as trample, not only does it have trample, it would also kill my guy, so I choose not to block. So as you can see, creatures in Magic can stick around a lot more. And they have a lot more text as a result. Draw a card for each creature you control with +1/+1 on it. Oh, that's pretty good. Might lose this game. Equipment. Attaches to a creature. +1/+2. Whenever an artificer enters, you may attach Inventor's Goggles to it. Okay, so I'm at 10. Have a lot of land. Have this vehicle which needs crew 5. Looks like we're gonna roll this one again. Rip. I still have this old deck called the Pile. This was from before when I played Magic Duels as well. Alright, new deck. Deck Wizard. So you have all these starter ones. And then we've got the deck archetypes from Kaladesh. Full Energy. Aggressive deck uses energy counters to field powerful combat. Inventor's Fair. Use wondrous artifacts to lead an ingenious assault. And then you've got some newbie decks. It looks like 2 archetypes. Well, let's see how this ingenious assault is. I won't go with the deck as is, of course. Step 1, artifact bonuses. Start with cards that work well with artifacts. Hey, that's a planeswalker. See a planeswalker, add a planeswalker. Saheeli. Scry 1, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature you control. Except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next insta. Search your library for up to 3 artifact cards of different names, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So Healy isn't actually that good. I'm being told, nah, whatever. Oh, and you can, cool little cosmetic thing, you can pay gold to foil all copies of the card. Wow, 5 coins? Alright, here. You're a foil now, Saheeli. Bling. Alright, artifact bonuses. Cost X less to cast, where X is the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts you control. That seems awfully good. Get him. 3 rares in the deck. These all look like arena cards. Oh, let's put in some welding sparks. That did pretty well. Foundry Inspector. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Artifact spells, huh? Interesting. You'll need several artifacts to maximize the deck's power. Ah, that looks pretty good. It's kind of a legendary. Or I mean, it's a mythic rare. First Strike. When Combustible Gear Hulk enters the battlefield, target opponent may have you draw 3 cards. If he doesn't, put the top 3 cards of your library in your graveyard. Gear Hulk deals damage to that player equal to the total converted mana cost of those cards. Now it's awfully good. Pow! Foiled. Now remember, in Duels, unique to Duels, you can only put in 1 copy of Mythics into your deck. Torrential Gear Hulk. Flash. You may cast target instant card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. Well, that's awfully good too. I'm just gonna put in all the mythics. 5 mana, 6/5 legendary artifact vehicle. When an attack, deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. That seems pretty good. Seems fun. Fill your deck. Creatures are important. Most decks want 20 to 30. Variety is good, which is basically lingo for you want a good mana curve. Removal is key. Yep. Hey, look, it's Chandra. Fire of Kaladesh. Whenever you cast a red spell, untap Chandra. Deals 1. Oh, this is Magic Origins. You actually get this when you just have the game, I believe. Unless I got really lucky and opened her. I actually think I got lucky and opened her way back when. So, yeah, let's just put her in. Seems cool. +1/+1 with an artifact. Lands. The right mix of lands helps make sure you'll be able to cast all your spells. Recommended number and type of lands have been automatically added. 9 island, 9 mountain, 2 tap lands, unless you have an island or a mountain, and then 2 tap lands. Seems okay, I guess. Customize your deck. So you can actually, like, this is a really cool way of labeling your deck so that you remember which deck is yours. And that's kind of red. And then you can set a background. Put that red hair against that blue background. Beautiful. And then you can customize your deck. Everyone gets the default deck back, but I've got a lot of gold, so here, what's a cool one I can do? Here, that's the red-blue one. Wow, fascinatingly enough, when I chose the green-red deck, that's actually the same one that I chose. Like, this deck was a really long time ago. Alright. And there's a baseline Inventor's Fair deck. It's not a very strong deck right now, but let's take it out on a whirl. Out to battle mode. Look at this guy, not even a special card back. Also, in Magic you can put more than 60 cards in your deck, but it's not recommended. Alright, I'll keep. Looks like the opponent mulliganed. Mulliganing in Magic, for those that didn't know, is to go down from 7 to 6 cards. And then you can keep mulliganing until you get a reasonable hand. Alright, when this attacks, excel the top flag. I'll do this one. Can't attack alone. There's a timer. The next turn I can play Bowmat, Courier, and attack with both. Or I can play Sky Stiff, which is more on curve. Probably better. I don't really know what the theme of this deck is yet. Oh, I can actually use the Sky Stiff to attack. Sky Skiff. Even though this guy can't attack. What a perfect crew. Aha! This guy's like, what in the world is happening? If he's not played Kaladesh before. This is a kind of fancy mechanic. Did I forget to attack? Oh, Summoning Sickness. Wait, cancel. Wait, didn't I attack with like Summoning Sickness guys in the other one? Never mind. Oh, last time I had the Haste Engineer, that's why. Oh. I figured those would be Summoning Sickness. I was like, wow, I'm surprised that vehicles don't have Summoning Sickness. You may destroy target artifact or enchantment. Oh, rip my 2-1. No fair, he's playing an artifact destruction deck. But it does allow your guy to use Summoning Sick guys to crew. And then it can fly in. Alright. Reclamation Sage seems awfully good in the world of Kaladesh. Nice curve. It seems like I can actually just fly over his guys. Very similar to the campaign. Perfect curve. Hey, this deck actually doesn't seem like it sucks. Explosive vegetation. He's ramping up. I might actually be able to use Bowmat Courier. Well, play the Bowmat Courier, built to smash it. Start collecting cards under this thing. Okay, so this is where I'm probably going to want to tap manually. So I want to make sure I have a red mana for the built to smash, so I'll tap my blue. Let that Sky Stiff up. Wait, is this lethal? 3/7. Oh, it's lethal. Oh. I'm really surprised. Is this turn 4? Alright, so after you block, stop timer, 3/7. Yeah, sure, I'll build to smash this thing. It's an artifact, so it gets trample also. Oh, that was easy. Turn 5 lethal with this pile. I must have gotten a pretty good draw against a pretty bad opponent. But hey, there you have it. Nice, I'm up to rank 2. Extra coins awarded for the first versus win of each day. Yeah, 20 extra gold. Now, I didn't finish building it, but I put together all the red and white deck, red or white cards that looked pretty interesting into the pile. This is like an all Kaladesh set. When you play multiplayer, it's actually with all the sets, so this would be the equivalent of playing something along the lines of just Whispers of the Old Gods in Standard, for example, to make a Hearthstone comparison. So the deck isn't going to be that strong compared to the others, but it has a lot of internal synergy because it runs artifacts and pilots and stuff. The deck building is different than Magic because normally in Magic the card game, you can put 4 copies of any card into your deck. In Magic Duels, there's a different metagame because Mythics you can only put 1 of, and Rares you can only put 2 of, and Uncommons you can put 3 of, and Commons you can put 4 of. So it's a different metagame here. I of course haven't finished building out this deck because this is not a good amount of cards. I think I will generally follow the 24 land in a 60 card deck generalization, so I'm going to be cutting 8 more cards from this stuff. Oh, I've already got 2 lands in here, which means I only have to cut 6 cards. So I would basically have a 36 card deck here, but I have 2 lands, which puts it up to 38. So that's a good amount. So now I just have to put in the lands. Or I can just have the deck auto-complete for me. Let's see. I think it might have just put in land for me. 16, 20, 22, 24 land. Pretty solid. I think I'm going to take out the tap lands because I have stuff that I want to play on 1 mana. And like this deck actually kind of plays on a curve. So I think the tap land is a little too slow. 8, 16, 20, 22, 24. So I'm just going to put in more plains and mountains instead. This land's pretty good. Their stats, looks like I have slightly more white, so I'll put in 3 plains and 2 mountain. Oh, set number of plains, so 11 and 9 mountain. Perfect. So the cool thing about Magic, by the way, in terms of deck building is if you wanted to, you could finesse this to like more than 2 colors. You could add in a 3 color, throw in a few of these. Like if I wanted to add in blue, I throw in some 2 Sulphur Falls, I threw in 2 Glacial Fortress, and I splash a little bit of blue in here, and then I add like a super powerful blue card, or a blue-red, or a blue-white card. It's kind of cool. Alright, Mr. Rank 5 guy. Give me a challenge, will you? Alright, I got the Copter Exemplar opening, and I have Depala to finish the curve. It's gonna be pretty tough to beat this hand. Let's see if he can do it. I was playing the Skiff with the pre-built deck. But man oh man is Copter way better. Play the Copter, attack for 3, and then if everything goes right, I draw something, I get Depala, then I go and crew Copter with Depala. And if everything doesn't go right, at the very least I can crew the Copter with the Templar, and then still draw and discard a card, possibly drawing into my 3rd land. Got a lot of the late game in my hand here. The big hulks. +1/+1 counter on the god or basic land. Shuffle your library and put it on top. So he's saying he doesn't have that much land in his hand by putting a land on top. Or he's saying he wants more land. Nice. Got my third land. Off to my pretty perfect start here. Depala buffs this dwarf. He also buffs the vehicle. The Exemplar gets the buff again because I have an artifact. I have to imagine that's actually a really strong turn 1, 2, 3. Probably one of the strongest in this set. I mean, maybe just thinking too highly of myself. I'm going to get rid of the 6-drop. Seems a little bit far right now. Or actually this 5-drop, because this 5-drop is worse than that 5-drop. It's pretty rough to deal with. Alright, now I can actually use Depala to draw some cards. Alright, we've got something getting inspected. Turn target tapped creature to its owner's hand. Smuggler's Copter. Probably means I want to play Smuggler's Copter over other choices. He actually dodged 3+1+3+2 damage with that. No, 4+2 damage. Dehydration. Enchanted creature doesn't untap. That's pretty solid on Depala. Probably too slow. This deck's pretty ruthless. Easy. Will you give me a challenge? And it's got the square name. Maybe that means they're pro? Alright, so in Magic Duels, you can actually get a free mulligan. And I'm gonna take it here since I don't have a source of red and I don't have anything I can cast on white early. That looks not great, but I'll keep. I have the Smuggler's Copter, so if I get anything on 2, if I get anything on 3, I can play the Copter as a guy. That opponent has 70 cards in their deck, so not a refined deck, but my hand isn't that great. It's got a lot of reactive cards. I'm actually thinking that probably the deck shouldn't have that many reactive cards in it. Up against box. Scary. Yeah, bigger decks aren't always bad, but just by having a bigger deck, you can kind of imply badness because it's not optimal. You control another elf, put a 1/1 green elf. Looks like he's playing an elf deck. Give me a 3, give me a creature. Oh, got a creature. Not the ones I wanted. I can Welding Sparks for 4, or I can kill something with 3 or greater power. If he's playing green, he might play something with 3 or greater power on turn 3. That is +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. So currently just a 2/2. Do I want to kill off the 2/2? I do make that thing grow by doing so. I'm gonna do it. I have to spend my mana on something. I have the Sky Whaler shot for when that becomes big enough. If I had another Plains in my hand, I probably wouldn't have, since Cataclysmic Gearhulk would make it so that you'd have to sacrifice down to one creature. Scry 2, reveal the top card. If it's a creature, put it into your hand. Cool, so that's kind of like a 4-mana 2/2 draw card. Enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls get -1/-1. So it's your basic green-black elf deck. Your old school elf deck meets oh, pass. No attack. Was he afraid of this copter? Was he afraid of me doing something to attacking minions? Ooh. Chandra Torch of Defiance, and I think okay, I have enough red, so I can put the mountain on the bottom, and Chandra I'll put on the top. The question is, do I want to attack with the copter this turn? I think the answer is yes. But it's not an immediate gimme, since I can use the copter to block pretty easily. So I'm gonna draw Chandra. Who do I toss? Probably Gearhulk. So Chandra, as a Planeswalker, looks impressive, but it actually doesn't have much synergy with my deck. Let's see, excel the top, you may cast this card. If you don't, deals 2 damage to opponent. I don't think I have anything to stop that. Let's see, shall I? Welding Sparks the Leona's Elite. Yeah, I will. I could have done it the other way around and then Skyweather shot Liliana's Elite, but it's a green deck. We'll have something bigger. Eventually, I imagine. Pia Noir. Actually, I should have played Chandra and then added 2 red. That was kinda quick on my side. Alright, I'll go ahead and do this. Attack for 3 on the sky each turn. I'll probably end up... Maybe I'll discard Chandra. Maybe it's fun. Oh, I'll discard this card actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Chandra counts as basically 2 land, kind of. Oh, the legendary elf. Other elf creatures get +1/+1. Whenever attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking elf. Alright, that's a pretty good elf. I think I'm gonna Chandra -3 to deal 4 damage to that. I'm gonna specially tap this plane. No, I'm not. Well, I won't. Make sure I have the red left over in case I Thopter into something useful. It had reach, so I had to do that first. It might have been worth it to protect Chandra and not attack here. But looting is pretty good. Get rid of the planes. Hold on. Yeah, get rid of the planes. So this setup, he might be encouraged to attack both of these into Chandra, and then I just don't block. If he attacks with only one into Chandra, then I'll block. Alright, rip Chandra. That's fine. She took 4 like a champ. Now the question is, do I want to use one of these to block one of them? They have elves, which have natural synergy, so it would make sense to block anyways. Alright, block arena. I'm sorry, Chandra. I think I could have played it better, and then kept blockers around for you. The fault is mine. But looting is really useful. I love getting further in my deck. Also, I'm dealing 3 damage. If I get rid of that card, I should get rid of this card because then I can play Plains and Depala. Yeah. It's a little bit risky since that's my only big removal, but if I get to scry, well, not scry, if I get to look at the top 6 cards with Depala, that's potentially a lot of cards. That looks like a card I wanted to kill. When it deals combat damage, +6/+6 to a player. Wow. And I can block it with exactly 1 creature if I want to. Fortunately, he doesn't have a way to deal with the copter still. I actually could have set up. Wait, I do have lethal. So that's 6 mana. I can put +3, and that's 4. That's exact lethal. Actually, it's +1 from lethal. Cheers. Woohoo! Box, 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 box. Knows he's finished. And I think I've become an apprentice in the game. Hitting rank 10. Of course, all shall fall before me. My brilliant deck building.
The Kaladesh Inventors Fair invites you, our best and brightest, to share your ingenuity with the world. As an official entrant, you may fuel your creativity with unrestricted ether access.